There is a destructive movement coming to America. In fact, it's already here. It's in Canada. It's throughout the entire world. And it is that which is based upon dictatorship and ultimate rule. It's taking away our First Amendment rights. Our freedom of speech is at risk. And this sounds like perhaps hyperbole, but it's not. And it was played out in Canada, and Dr. Jordan Peterson came before members of the House, Congress, to talk about it. This is what he had to say.
Dr. Peterson, I want you to talk about the debanking issue we saw so much of, and how that was, particularly, I guess, with the truckers, and how that's, because I see it coming. I see it coming here, and it frightens me. I want you to talk about what took place in Canada and if it in any way impacted you.
Well, there was essentially a working class protest against the extensive length of the COVID lockdowns. And one consequence of that was that Canadians who participated, even by donating to the protest and even by donating small amounts to the protest, had their bank accounts seized in consequence of a collusion between the banks and the government that was extrajudicial, that was recently deemed unconstitutional, despite the fact that we don't have strong First Amendment claims. So this happened. The government is currently maneuvering in Canada to make the possibility of such collusion a certainty across multiple actual and potential domains of so-called harm, particularly in relationship to government-defined hate. Yes, this is absolutely coming. And it's facilitated by the kinds of advancements in technology that we talked about today.
Yeah, we know it's coming because we've seen what do they call it? The liaison information report from the FBI to the banks saying possibly include firearm legislation, the easing of immigration status, new limits on public land, and discontent with renewed measures to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. So the very issue that these truckers were debanked in Canada is the very thing the government is saying to banks, we need to look at this as well. That single issue. That is, again, what frightens me so much. And frankly, when you're getting this information, if you're going to get it, why you should be compelled to get the warrant before you go get it.
That is super scary. It's something that happened in Canada, and it's coming to America. I mean, it is being pushed by the radical. They used to be radical. They're not radical anymore. It's just the Democrats. The Democrats are using their party platform to erode freedom of speech. Because if it doesn't align with their religion of DEI wokeness, then you are labeled an enemy of the state. And what they did in Canada to the truckers' protest is just unconscionable. They protested and the government didn't like it, so they seized their money. I mean, can you imagine being in the United States? And this is coming. I mean, something like this is happening. I mean, as Jim Jordan just said, that the FBI is already telling banks and institutions, hey, look at this kind of angle in legislation when you push it. These kind of laws, they write these huge bills that are filled with pages that these congressmen don't read, they don't evaluate, and they go and pass into law, and then it erodes our freedoms of speech. This is something that you need to get involved with, you need to be aware of, and you need to fight back on. You need to push back. You need to speak your mind and speak truthfully and be articulate. There's nothing more dangerous than a well-versed, articulate person that speaks firm but fair in the public square. That's what we need. And that's what I'm grateful for Jordan Peterson and all that he's done in the world to date. This is Chronicles of Clarity. I am so glad you're here and watch this episode. We have many more. You might check out some on the screen. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Love to have you on board. We've grown so much in the last 7 months. I've been blown away. I hope we continue to make creative content to keep you informed, because we're here to clarify for you. I'm Michael Goff. See you next time.